There.
At least you caught it before.
You know, we didn't get 5 minutes into it before I remembered to push the damn button.
I'm proud of you. That's progress.
As I was saying, welcome back to Darkness Live, guys.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I wonder how many people can genuinely say Happy Monday. I can. Can you?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Honest question, you can?
Yeah.
Good.
So,
I'm glad.
now I can. Didn't used to be able to, but now I can. So.
Like, didn't used to be able to, like, today or overall?
Overall.
Oh, you big picture thinker, you.
Yeah.
You know, Jeremiah and I were having a conversation last night about how I'm really, really an in the moment person. Like, present, very present, almost to would you say it's like, almost to a negative? Like, I'm so present with time and situations. Like,
right.
I typically don't think, like, big picture long term. Well, I mean, sometimes I do, but... And then this guy over here is, like, completely big picture thinker.
Yeah, I don't know what it means to live in the moment. That's not true. I do, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me.
I bring you back
around. The struggle
around.
is real, man.
I bring you back around to it. Yeah.
I got to make sure I got the sound off of this over here. Otherwise, we'll be... Yeah, it's off. Okay. So, oh my gosh. It doesn't even seem like it's been a whole week since the last time we were live.
No, it doesn't. I was talking to a coworker today about the fact that it seems like it was just Monday. And here it is Monday again. It's crazy how time moves.
Oh, right? We've had a lot going on.
We have had a lot going on. I'm sure everybody out there watching has had a lot going on, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that time of year.
Oh, yep. Fall, Halloween.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm just waiting, like, it seems to me that where I work, sometimes when holidays come up, they'll discuss, like, oh, the origins of the holiday, or what. I'm just waiting. I can't wait till Halloween, and then I can be like, oh, by the way.
Hey.
By the way.
Did you know?
Would you like some history on Halloween? I can't wait till we have Shannon on, David's wife, Shannon.
Yeah.
I can't wait. She's going to be on what? When is she going to be on?
Oh, there's some. We need to do some finagling with that, but we will get it.
Well, she's going to be on before Halloween.
Yes.
I don't know why. Yes. I'm thinking, Shannon, if you're watching, yes. I'm thinking about you and Halloween. She is watching. Hi, Shannon.
So, what's been going on?
So I was on call this weekend, so I haven't had a day off in a while.
Yeah.
Well, I say a while, but like today I think it's 8 days in a row or something. I don't know. I'm starting to go loony. I think when I walked in the office this morning, one of the girls I work with was like, "Are you okay? You look like you haven't slept well." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm kind of tired."
Yeah.
But like you said, being on call is more of a mental game than anything else.
Well, I mean, it depends because like you actually got called out a lot this weekend, so you actually were working. You have been working for 7-8 days straight.
But
9
it's
days
not.
straight
It's
now.
not hard. It's more. But when I say it's more of a mental game, it's more of a like. You can't plan. It's hard to plan. You don't know when you're going to get called. But in reality, what I actually have to go do is not difficult.
Right.
It's not.
But it's still
mentally draining.
Work.
Yeah.
And it's,
yes.
You don't get the day off and like you said, you can't plan anything and it all sucks. But, plus we've got the whole wedding thing coming up.
Yes.
Our oldest son and his fiance are getting married in 2 weeks, and so
are.
we're excited about that. But wow, they're realizing that wow, they didn't have as much time as they thought they did. So
that happened to us.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like you think you have all like months, and then it's like you wake up and realize you have a couple weeks. Oh my god! And the list you have stuff to do. I looked at him Saturday, and I was like. So, hindsight, you guys kind of think maybe it would have been cheaper and easier to just go elope?
Well, they were talking about that a couple of times. It's going to Cozumel and...
Do you have any desire to go to Mexico? Visit Mexico?
There's a few places I wouldn't mind going. I'd love to go investigate at Tulum.
What is that? Tell me about that.
That's some of the Mayan ruins.
Oh.
And it would be awesome. And there's a couple of... I have no desire whatsoever to go to any of the really touristy places aside from that. But the places I would like to go are probably where I'd stand the most chance of getting kidnapped for my non-existent, life savings or, kidnap insurance.
See... I think, so Sarah, the gal who we've met recently at the fairs and stuff, she was telling me she went to, I don't know if it was her whole family, they went to Peru, and man, she came back, she got some amazing stones, like gems and natural stones.
Yeah. She was telling us about that.
Every time I see her, she's got one around her neck, and I'm like, I really want that necklace, and she's like, you just gotta go to Peru to get it, because down there, she said she spent like $300 or $400, but the amount that she would have spent for the same stones here, she got one heck of a deal. But also, she brought up the point of, that few $100s that she spent, that probably, like the guy who was selling them, like that was probably more than he would have made for that entire year. Like that was really his year.
Right, yeah.
In one, sale or whatever. But
right.
Anyways, yeah. Sorry I'm kind of blah today. I am. I won't lie to you. I'm kind of blah. Well, it didn't help. We just got back from the yearly book fair with kiddos, and that's just mentally draining because it's tons of kids and parents in this little library that there's way too many bodies in and stenches and oh god, I had to get out of there. I just had to get out of there. See, since you can't smell as well, you should be the one to go in.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. I tried.
Get into any place that crowded, and I get away with it at the fairs and stuff because I'm focused on something. But if I don't have something focused to do, if that's my job is to watch the kids amongst this sea of people.
Oh, and it's
no.
Well, I'm just gonna stop myself.
That would be very, very, very bad for my mental health. I'm just
gonna stop myself. Although I will say, Lennon's teacher was there, and I noticed he had a tattoo on his arm, and it was like an outline of like a crescent moon with some kind of symbols, and it caught my eye. I was like, "Ooh,
interesting."
I'm curious. Yeah, I wished I would have had a card. Be like, "Hey, watch this at 7:30." Like, you
right?
find it fascinating. But he also has Lennon's teacher. He's one of those cool teachers that has all the caged reptiles and caged things that the kids all absolutely love. Man, I never had a teacher that had all kinds of crazy reptiles and snakes and animals and amphibians and But yeah, he said his teacher had like 6 tarantulas, which I'm like, oh my god, I want one.
Yeah.
And then, but Lennon said one of them passed.
Yeah, one of them died.
It was like a blue. I don't know. Lennon just said the tarantula was blue, which would have been amazing to see. God, too bad we couldn't have kept it. We could have like cast it in resin.
Right.
It's like, guys, I'm terrible. So where we live, there was a cat that got hit, which breaks my heart. Don't get me wrong. It breaks my heart that there was a kitty that got hit by a car and it was in the road. And when I was about to leave the other morning, I'm like, oh God, I hope it's dead, because I think that would absolutely be worse than anything, to come up upon an animal that's been hit and it's not quite dead yet. Oh, anyways, but luckily for me, it had already passed. Hopefully it was instant. But I looked at Jeremiah and I'm like, hey, you think that we could like bury that in the yard and then we could have the bones here after all of the things finish eating away at the body? And I'm like, man, what kind of a person have I turned into that I'm thinking about that sort of a thing? And he's like, no, I really don't think there's anywhere on this property that we could bury it. So
yeah.
But then I was like, yeah, I don't think I couldn't have picked it up out of the road though. Like even with gloves, because if you work in the medical field and you have gloves on, you can touch anything. But with with dead animals, I don't think I can. No, I can't. I can. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could pick up a dead animal. I mean, like if I absolutely had to, maybe. But that reminds me of that scene in Tommy Boy when. They're driving and they think the deer is dead, so they put it in the back of David Spade's car, and then it definitely isn't dead. And those of you who have seen Tommy Boy, who hopefully is most of the people who watch this, because it's such a great couple hours of entertainment. I'll admit it, man. I love that movie. I love that movie. So.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. So what's going on with you?
Busy trying to get the website up.
You have the website up, you just haven't gotten all the products uploaded, right?
HuginnsNest.com.
Is it uploaded, downloaded? How do you word that correctly?
It depends on what you're talking about.
So, like, all of the stuff that we make, that we sell, like,
that would be uploaded.
Okay, so uploaded, if you've gotten everything uploaded.
I've got all of the I've got the website all set up and everything, and the reading services are actually set up on it, so people can, between Facebook and the website, book and pay for a reading. Excuse me. I just don't have any of the Huggins Nest products on it yet, because it's just, there's a lot of background stuff that that goes on that you have to set up, and I'm just getting through the process of getting that all set up so that I can actually start uploading products, and I should be starting to have the first products uploaded tomorrow. At HugginsNest.com. I'll post a link in the video description.
Sweet.
So we're excited about it.
We
got a lot of cool shit, guys.
When it comes to technology, I just do not even attempt it. It's like, that's all your department. We balance each other so well. I can make stuff, and he does he can make stuff too, amazing stuff. But I do the making, the handsy stuff. You do the typing part of it. The clicking and all that stuff, so. Yeah.
So I just got a message, and our guest for the night is ready.
Is she ready?
She's ready.
Okay. Should we talk about it for a second before we call her up?
Let's introduce her, and then we'll give her a call.
Okay. So, here you go for a second.
No, you go ahead. You.
Okay, so her name is Laura, and Laura is an astrologer, and I don't know, she's pretty incredible. Like, we met her, were we in
St. Louis.
I was trying to remember if it was Kansas City or St. Louis. We were in St. Louis, that's right. And she was in St. Louis, she was doing birth charts, reading, explaining your birth chart to you. And it's amazing to me. Like, I wish I had as much knowledge as she does when it comes to astrology, because I know, like, the little bit of information that I know about each of the zodiac signs, like, one of the first things I'll ask somebody is like, hey, when's your birthday? Like, all nonchalant, but in reality, I'm like, what's their sign? How am I going to interact with them or whatever? And God help me if they say Cancer, because that's the one sign that's so awkward for me. But I'm learning thanks to one of the gals that we met at one of the other fairs. She kind of helped me along with how to connect with a Cancer.
Right.
So, which has been incredibly helpful. And it's made a big difference. But yeah, I just, I have a lot of questions for her, and I'm so excited. And so, what else does she do other than
I know she
astrology?
She does.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Herbal consultations. She mixes her herbalism with the astrology practices.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not exactly sure how that works. That's on the agenda to try to find out tonight, because that sounds really cool, really interesting.
That sounds like really unique, like not a normal thing you hear about.
I'm trying to get to my notes right quick, but she is she's just really very knowledgeable, very
she's like the nicest person.
Yeah,
too.
she has a very very kind. Just a very kind heart about her. Let's see here. She does. She works depth psychology into it.
Into her astrology readings.
She practices in her unique practice of integrating astrology and flower essences.
That is so cool.
To kind of balance out. I guess balance out imbalances in there. So yeah, it's really cool, really cool.
Well, let's call her, because I have like a ton of questions.
Right? Okay.
I'm so excited to have her on.
All right.
Didn't we both like think about her at this almost the same time? Because we're like talking about who we're gonna have on or whatever, and we both were kind of like, you know what? Let's see if she'd be interested. And luckily she was.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, darling. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting to hear your voice.
I know.
Great.
It's been way too long. You every so often you come across a soul that you meet once, and you just have this connection, and you're like, I'm gonna know this person forever. Like,
yep.
I'm so glad you're on. Thank you so much for coming on with us and discussing all this this cool stuff. Like, it's just this, I feel like a kid in a candy store talking to an astrologer. I really do. Like, I absolutely, like, I'm so drawn to astrology. I'm so drawn to it. That's like, Jeremiah and I, we were looking at our birth charts the other day. And because I'm not familiar with all of the symbols. And when I'm talking about the symbols, for the most part, I know what the symbols for the 12 houses are. But when it comes to the planets, I'm not familiar with those symbols. And we figured out we both have, we both have Pisces in, was it Mercury?
Oh, you both have Mercury and Pisces?
Yeah, there we go.
Very loving and spiritual communication, wanting to connect and be one. Pisces is the sign of like compassion and oneness and integrating with the universe.
That's so appropriate, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's so appropriate with us. That's so cool. That is so cool. And then sorry, I just have like a million questions. So before I jump into all of this excitement, I want you to, first off, tell us a little bit about how you got into astrology.
Oh my gosh, I really do enjoy telling this story because it's quite ridiculous. I'm really thankful. I really am glad it's not like I went to a store and I picked up this book and here I am. It's definitely a weird one. So I think you guys will appreciate this. Okay, so let's go back to when I was in college. I went to Indiana University, Bloomington, and um, at the end of the year when everyone was moving, people just like left furniture like out by dumpsters.
Dude, that's like the best dumpster diving you can
I
possibly
know.
do. Seriously, it is. It is.
It really is, and I love a good dumpster dive.
So do I.
And this is the setting. And so people were leaving their stuff by the dumpsters, and so me and my partner at the time loved this activity. These were our big Friday night plans. And so one Friday night, I was like, hey, let's go look for some new treasures. And he was like, yeah, let's do
Oh,
it.
yes.
And so we go to this apartment complex that we always found the best stuff. And we get there and we notice that there are like a lot of other people, which I'm pretty introverted. So I was like, oh, I like to dumpster dive in the privacy of my own dumpster, you know? And
Stay out of my dumpster. Are you a territorial dumpster diver, Laura?
I am a little bit, you know, it's a secret. But so we go by this dumpster and there's this man who looks like kind of crazy. And I was like, oh my God, like, my partner at the time, his name is Zach, I was like, I know that he's going to talk to this person because Zach could just literally talk to anyone. And I was like, please don't talk to him. Please don't talk to him. Please don't talk to him. And Zach goes up and is like, hey, I'm Zach. And I was like, oh, God. And he's like, hello. Like, my name's Stuart. Like, nice to meet you. And they start talking, and Stuart's like, did you know I'm an astrologist? And I was like, Zach, this guy is crazy. Like, let's get out of here. Like, what is he doing? And he's like, no. Like, I'm an astrologist. People pay me. I go to parties, and I read their charts. And I'm like, I don't even know what an astrology chart is. And he's like, all I need is your full name, your date of birth, and your place of birth. I was like, Zach, he's going to, like, steal our social security numbers, okay? Like, no. Do not give him this. And Zach, of course, gave him the information, and he pulls up this chart with these, like, lines and symbols on it, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, he clearly scribbled this in, like, his bathtub and just, like, has it on his phone or something. And he starts reading it and saying all these things about Zach that are true, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, how do you know this? Like, you've either stalked us, or like what's going on? And so he keeps talking and he tells all the Zach these like really intimate details of his life, and I was like, this is crazy, how do you know this? And he's like, all of this information is in our astrology chart. And I was like, seriously? And so he asked for my name and he kind of read my chart, and he got my interest really piqued, and I was super into it. And I would ask everyone their time, you know, time of birth, place of birth, and became that person, and would learn things slowly. But I remember when I was Googling online, like, how to learn astrology, everything I pulled up was so confusing, to the point that one time I was looking at it on my computer and I just said, well, guess I'm never going to learn astrology.
That's how I feel. Like, I feel like just little bits and pieces I'll like pick up and I'll learn about it and stuff like that, but big picture, I'm like, how the hell am I going to learn all this? You know?
Exactly. No, I totally it. And it wasn't until I met someone who was just brilliant at astrology, and he trained me, that I really learned. So I am definitely an advocate that astrology, I mean, maybe some people can, but I find it way too challenging just to pick up a book and learn it. Like, I really feel like you need someone there to help you. It's a language, you know, someone help to teach the language to you. And I was lucky to have a teacher who was trained by some of the greatest astrologers like Lawrence Hillman and Rob Hand. And we spent enough time together over, you know, the past years that I've just kind of picked it up and become fluent at it, and now just am obsessed with it and see the magic in it, and just see it as a useful tool.
It's so accurate. Like, it's, I'll never forget the first time that I actually, like, in depth plugged in all the info, where you were born, the time. Luckily, like, I feel bad for people that don't know the time, because that really can make or break your accuracy with your chart.
Yeah, the astrology chart, just so you know, the astrology chart changes every 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super important that you know the exact minute you were born.
Right.
Because if you're off, like, one moment you could be like very loving and peaceful, and the next moment you could be extremely mischievous. A lot can happen in those 4 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Right,
oh
right.
yeah. And it's just yeah, it's just so crazy. And I remember it's like when I was reading, I'm like, man, this is almost creepy how accurate it is. But this is so cool. I wonder if I can start to learn this, and then I can like connect other people. And but it's so in depth. Like it's yeah, but it's really so. My number one question I want to ask. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I apologize. I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to get better, Laura, about my interrupting people. Okay, keep going with your story.
Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
I said, I apologize, I keep interrupting you, but go ahead with your story about you got into it. So this guy, and then you met him, and it was crazy, and then you got a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found an astrology teacher, and who's just brilliant, and over time, I just, I would ask him questions all the time. We would look at horoscopes together. And the biggest way was really just looking at charts and having someone talk to you about the symbols and getting you to understand the symbols, because it's like, I describe astrology as kind of coloring a picture, and you start with this blank canvas, and then you learn where their planets are, and that gives you like the background, and then you get the houses, and that gives you the colors, and then you get the aspects, which tells you how to shade it. And so this beautiful process of unfolding, and one day someone was like, you gotta start reading charts for people, and I was like, oh no, I'm so nervous, and it just started flowing, and now I absolutely love to read charts, and I teach classes on astrology and write some blogs about it. And so very
cool.
Thankful to the crazy dumpster man who kickstarted my career as an astrologist.
That's so amazing. Isn't it so cool how hindsight, those moments that are really pivotal in changing your life, and those moments you look back and you're like, man, thank God I made that decision, or thank God for synchronicities, or man, if I wouldn't have made that decision, I would have learned this, or yeah. Life is so crazy. It's so cool, though. It's such a great ride, isn't it?
It is. So, yes.
And hey, you know what? Because of that crazy, crazy man, you and I met.
Yes.
See? And it's like, man, oh, yeah. That's a long rabbit hole we could go down very easily. Very, very easily. Okay, so I have to ask, when it comes to specifically, Aquarius and Aries and all of those signs, every sign has an ideal, like, another sign that you balance each other the best, or you get along the best, or compatibility. There we go. Each sign has one that they're most compatible with. Is that correct?
I would actually say that is not correct. So compatibility in astrology is extremely complex. Sorry for all the people like rampantly Googling their sign and who their love of their life is. But I can tell you a couple of pointers on kind of how compatibility works, because it's really more about and I have a background in psychology, so I'll be using some psychobabble, so tell me if you need anything explained.
Okay.
But it's really about these archetypes of energy and being mirrored by other people, and so there's a couple of ways. So every zodiac sign has an opposing sign, and that is the sign that it's said to balance it. So opposites, I've noticed in astrology, either really enjoy each other or really dislike each other. And I say if you ever really dislike someone, then they're carrying a part of yourself that you are not ready to look at.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
Sometimes, the really detail-oriented and the really big idea person don't get along because they see things so differently.
Right.
But I feel like when you can find the common ground and say, oh, we're both, doing this because we love truth, or we love exploring, or we love knowledge, then the opposites can really appreciate each other and make some pretty cool partnerships because they help kind of complete the spectrum together. But just another really quick kind of compatibility thing. So in astrology, I don't know if you've heard this, the big three is a very common thing that you'll hear, and that is your sun sign, which is the sign that most people know, and that's
Yep.
the sign of like, if you're like, hey, I was born on December 9th, what's my sign? So that's your sun sign. So it's where the sun was when you were born.
Sagittarius.
Yes. And then we have our moon sign. So it's where the moon was when you were born. And our moon sign deals with our emotions, our feelings, how we emote, and how we express our feelings. And then we have our rising sign, which is how we present ourselves to the world. And so in
Wow.
astrology, I would say that sun signs and moon signs, if they're the same, they tend to really attract, because let's say if someone is a sun Aries, they're very fiery, they're very fun, they're bold, they're intense. And then you get someone with a moon Aries, you know, their feelings are intense, their feelings are bold, like their feelings are fiery. And so there's a commonality between those that people feel really comfortable with. It's like yeah, we're on the same vibe, we're in the same wavelength. And I often find that people really like that because, you know, if you think about relationships, we do gravitate towards the people. It's funny because in psychology, they're always like, is it birds of a feather flock together or, you know, opposites attract? And
Right.
they say it's both, but actually birds of a feather flocks together is just slightly stronger psychologically.
Wow. Well, you know what? That makes total sense because so here break this down for me, okay? So
Yeah.
we talked about this when we met, but we're going to talk about it right now. So Jeremiah and I, okay, I'm going to tell you our
Yeah.
three, and then you explain why this works the way. Why I want you, yeah,
As best you can without the rest of the chart.
yeah, exactly.
I can give a little tidbit. It would be easier with the rest of the chart, but I can feel it out. So feel
Okay.
free. Give me your big three.
Okay, so which one do you want? Sun, then moon, then rising?
Yes.
Okay, so my sun is Sagittarius. His is 1 degree Gemini.
Okay, so he's a Cancer Gemini cusp. Go on.
Taurus.
Gemini.
Oh, Taurus. Sorry. Okay,
No,
Taurus
you're
Gemini.
You're right. And then we both have a Capricorn moon sign.
Got it.
And then his rising is Libra, and my rising is 1 degree Gemini.
Okay, wow, interesting. So like I said already, there's a lot of that mirroring that's going on. You know,
Yeah.
you both have Capricorn moons. I find that people in relationships with compatible moon signs tend to feel the most intimate with each other because our emotions are really, you know, and our feelings are some of the deepest parts of ourselves. And if we're not on the same page on that with someone, then how can we really emote? How can we feel intimate enough to connect?
Right.
So
Right.
with Capricorn moons, you guys both have that, you know, feelings are important, but you want these feelings to be practical. So there might, that can be really good for maybe communicating feelings. You could add structure to your feelings very well. You would know what you're feeling and you would want to do something. Like you wouldn't just want to sit in anger. You're like, all right, I have this anger. Like I want to talk about it. I want to fix the situation. Or I'm sad. I want to let them know. I want to get this taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And I mean, especially Laura, it's like when there's like an issue or something like that, like I have no patience. I'm like, I want to address it. I want to figure it out. I want to work through it and I want to move past it and just be done with it.
Yes, exactly. Capricorn is super efficient. And so, you know, like sitting and stirring and ruminating isn't going to do anything. You're
Right.
like, nope, I feel it. Let's go.
Yes,
So
exactly.
Capricorn is super efficient. And then I find it really interesting. So I was going to talk about the second aspect of compatibility that I see the most for people is the sun sign, rising sign connection. So people with a rising sign tend to like a sun sign. For example, my rising sign is Cancer, which means when you first meet me, I can be a little introverted. I want to talk about plants. I probably have a cat or a cat item near me. I like cozy blankets. I want to sip tea. And so that's how I present myself to people. And then when I meet Cancer suns, who that's just a part of the energy that they are, we click right away. So right off the bat, the Taurus Gemini cusp is very interesting because earth and air, I think it's really beautiful because the earth energy of Taurus stabilizes the airy kind of energy of Gemini. But the good news is that Gemini is really fun. It's really funny. It's social. It's outgoing. So it kind of wakes up the earthy, slow Taurus.
Right.
I tend to just love Taurus. Taurus is probably Taurus and Virgo. I have Taurus and Virgo issues. I love them both so much. They're my zodiac crack. As you say, but so Jeremiah with the Taurus Gemini sun would have a silliness. Gemini is pretty silly, but nothing too crazy, not too off the wall, and that would be really compatible to your Sag, because Sag is very silly. It's very playful, and to have that element in your relationship would be really important.
And another thing, Laura, that I have learned over the past couple of years is that, with Gemini, I've learned that when you do a lot of reading about Gemini, they can get bored really easily. And, well,
they do.
A Sagittarius doesn't ever give them the opportunity to get bored.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes, so I think that Gemini and Sag, they're both on that quest together of fun and excitement and just continually going down the rabbit hole so it never ends. That's so beautiful. I love that.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And like I said, thank God that you're a big picture thinker, Jeremiah, because I am definitely not. So he keeps me focused on goals and stuff like that, and I keep him bringing him back around. Hey, let's talk about right now, what's going on today. You know what I mean? So Laura, what about? So we had somebody have a question on here, and she said, She said she's curious what sign you absolutely don't get along with. Hold on, I wonder if she means specifically. I wonder if Yanni means specifically if it would be the polar opposite sign, or if sorry Yanni, I'm confused about your question.
Is she asking me personal or just in general?
I don't know. I'm not sure. She said, I'm curious what signs you absolutely don't get along with.
Okay,
I bet she's talking about what if Laura had any.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you have any?
Okay, let me think. Let's go through the list. Love me a good Aries man, and some Aries women, hit or miss. Pretty much love all Tauruses. Me and Geminis have a love-hate relationship. So here's something fun. We'll take a little caveat. In astrology, we have something called our North Node and our South Node. Our North Node represents our soul's kind of purpose in this life. It's where our karma is trying to evolve to. It's the thing that we're shooting our bow and arrow at. It's the things we're reaching at. And so our goal in this lifetime is really to try to work towards that North Node. Our South Node is our gift that we came into this life with, but we're realizing that we need to evolve from. So we love the energy. It feels safe. But it's time to let that energy go. And in my chart, my South Node is in Gemini. So I love that Gemini is so funny and playful and doesn't take life too serious and can just pontificate for hours. But then my North Node is in Sag, which is all right, all the fun and games is super cool, but where's the truth? What is life all about? Let's find capital T truth together.
Okay.
So I've noticed that with Geminis, I'm always drawn to them, but then I'm ugh, at the end after it. I would say, actually, I just had this come to me. The sign that I probably have the hardest difficulty with is Libra.
Okay.
Libra on the high end is really into aesthetics. They're always really well dressed. I can spot out a Libra because they're super cool. They're classically dressed. Most times, there's an oddball in everyone. And Libra is really concerned about relationships, which I really value. But on the downside of Libra is I feel that they tend to think they know better than everyone. Sorry, Libras, I'm sure it's not all you.
Oh, God, that's what our littlest one is, Laura. She's a Libra. She's a Libra.
I called out. I know they're going to be Laura's an anti-Libra astrologist. I'm not. I'm just talking about me. And my Sagittarius is no one person holds the truth. We all have our own truth. So that's kind of where my thoughts are. But really, there is a high end and a low end to every single sign. So you will meet awesome sun signs of every sign, and you will meet not so awesome people in every sign. It's really based on where the individual is at, what their karma is, and their life experiences. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Would you say that? So here's an interesting correlation. I'm curious if it is a correlation. Somebody who's really wanting to work on growth and working on themselves, would you suggest getting their birth chart, going to an astrologer, having the astrologer explain their birth chart? And do you think that that would be a really good approach? I think that would be a really good approach to somebody who's working on their own personal growth and introspection. And, what do you think?
Right.
Of course you're going to agree with me. You're an astrologer. But, I mean, seriously, like, I think that would be, like, a really, really, really good way for somebody to really get a glimpse of themselves for how they are.
Yes, of course, 100% yes. That's what got me into it. When I had my first astrology reading and he could like tell me the inner dynamics of myself and who I am and call things out better than I could myself, I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
It's time for me to really take this seriously. But one time someone sent me this picture and it's this person coming up to an astrologist and they're holding this like really messy ball of yarn and they're saying, this is me, like, who am I? And then the astrologist like takes the ball of yarn and like sorts it evenly and is pointing and saying, this is this part of you, this is this part of you.
That's cool.
And so astrology gives me a language to break down the complexities of humans, because we're all such complex beings. And to say, we're one personality type or we're one way just isn't accurate. We're made of all these nuances, and I have found that astrology is truly the only method to pick these things out. So for all of you guys, working on yourself, astrology is the perfect opportunity because it can isolate these minute parts of yourself, some that you love to pieces and some that you struggle with every day. And astrology has made it so I understand my personal struggles on a deeper level, and I have the tools to transform them now. I'm not stuck. And what makes my astrology a little bit different than others is that I actually have a background in herbalism. And so one of the things I'm most known for is using flower essences with astrology. So have you heard of flower essences?
No, until you happened. No, I'd never heard of that before. Like, I'd never heard of that combination of any.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. That's so cool.
So let me take a second and kind of explain about that. So flower essences, there was this guy, Dr. Bach. You probably see Bach Remedies. They have them at Whole Foods. And he was like, hey, like, we have all these plants that do cool things. Like, I can eat peppermint if I have a stomach ache, or use comfrey if I break a bone. But, like, what do I do about these personal and emotional issues that I'm having in my life? Like, how do I make changes there? And he believed that flowers held these vibrational healing remedies.
Oh, wow.
And so he isolates their vibrations using water and the sun and creates little potions based on them. And so what I do is I read the astrology chart, I figure out your strengths and your weaknesses, and then I create custom flower essence blends to help bring your energies into balance. Because it's really hard to, kick an old habit and start something new and change these parts of yourself. So we're using the law of attraction by putting these energies in. So for example, let's say that I have a hard time being assertive and I tend to get walked over. I would take an essence that is the energy of standing up for myself. And every day by taking this flower essence, I'm introducing that vibration into my energetic body. And then over time, I am naturally in alignment with that vibration and I'm able to express it in my own life. And so it's a way to take control of your life and to take control of your emotions and your feelings, which as a very emotional Scorpio moon is the most empowering thing that I could give anyone.
Right.
Wow.
Go ahead while I think about how to word my question.
Oh, so did you just kind of have that aha moment? It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And especially with having the background in psychology, along with you educating yourself. The background in psychology and you educating yourself on astrology and then incorporating the plant. Like, how cool is that, man?
Yeah.
Like, that is so amazing.
Yeah, I actually, I was in my herbalism program, and we had done a sacred, like, pipe ceremony, like pipe tobacco. It's from the Native American tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting in a circle, and she told us to put an intention into the pipe. And I was like, all right, what the hell am I going to do with my life? That's my question. And so I was like, I want to find my purpose. I want to find my next adventure. And I'm driving home from the ceremony, and I'm sitting in my car at a stoplight, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I literally say out loud, I'm going to start a business called Dawn of the Moon, and I'm going to link flower essences and astrology, and I'm going to lead people's chart and make them personalized essences to create revolutionary change in their life.
Wow.
That's very cool.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Your background in astrology, coming back to the question I started to ask a while ago and then didn't know how, your background in astrology, background in psychology, I would imagine helps. Okay, so as I'm doing readings and helping people with different life coaching areas and whatnot, I often find that people's locus of control is all cattywampus. They almost always have an area where they need to rein their locus of control back in more internal.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think, with your background in psychology, that would really prepare you probably better than what I've been prepared for anyway, to help with that, to help them see and to kind of rein that back in.
Yeah, oh my gosh. First off, for those of you who haven't had a reading with Jeremiah, like, woo, blew my world, rocked my life, like, his gentle words and guidance really helped me make some positive shifts. So I am sure that you are very well equipped to help people, but I definitely get what you're saying. I think that it's very easy for us to blame X or blame Y, or this is why this isn't happening. And I really like to believe that it's because, as humans, we all have this perfectionistic nature in ourselves, and we don't want to take ownership and be like, crap, like, I messed up, or I need to do more of X. And so it takes a lot of humility to, say this is where I could have had more control. And it's not easy. I'm still working on this myself, not claiming to be any expert, but I feel that these essences are a direct way of people feeling like they're taking control and they can do something for themselves, because I feel like often when we're deep into a trauma or during a really hard part of our life, like, it's hard to find the strength and the courage to make a change because it feels so unlikely. When we're really broken, like, it feels so hard to get up and pick up the pieces. So this is a very easy, you're only putting 3 drops of something on your tongue once a day.
Right.
But yeah, the background in psychology. My favorite kind of psychology is pretty kooky. It's called Jungian psychology, and it's all about looking at our relationships with a more informed view. So saying, like, man, like, what could I might have done to attract this situation? How can I, decrease that magnet for that situation later in life and attract something healthier?
Right. Now, when I was in school, I only ever took Psych 101, but that's all that was required for the nursing program. But the Jungian psychology was my absolute favorite section through the whole thing.
Oh, all the different faces that you wear.
In the Jungian window and.
Mm-hmm.
I love. Yes, I think Jungian psychology is very underrated. A lot of psychology programs do not recognize him for his brilliance. And I just find it awesome. One of my favorite parts of Jungian psychology is dream analysis. I've been getting really into dream analysis, and I'm just finding that, like, my soul is speaking to me on such a deep level. You know, before I used to be like, man, I have the weirdest dreams. One moment I'm a pirate, and then I'm in a candy store. Like, I need to stop eating Reese's cups and watching Pirates of the Caribbean. You know?
So speaking of Laura, like dreams and vivid dreams and everything, so man, I tell you, when I have some vivid dreams, they are bizarre. Like, bizarre. And then there's this podcast that I really enjoy listening to. I listen to this guy's podcast when I'm driving, and he's all about the spiritual awakening.
What's his name?
Oh, fuck. What's his name? It's Aaron Doughty, maybe? Aaron Doughty. I think that's how you say his last name. Anyways, Nicole Smith, she's one of the gals who watches our she's amazing too, but she's the one who kind of like introduced me to his podcast. And so one of his schools of thought is that your spirit guides come to you in your dreams, and because he also believes that we're higher dimensional beings and we came to Earth in the 4-dimensional world to awaken, have an awakening, right? But we couldn't come here as, higher dimensional beings because we wouldn't fit in. It would be like this, we can't live this way or whatever. So one of his videos was about how your spirit guides come to you in your dreams, and they'll show you, like, in a way you can understand, they'll give you messages and whatnot. And he also had this idea, and I'm curious your thought on this, that he said before you go to bed at night, set your intention that you will wake up to and remember your dreams. Because I tell you, a lot of the time I don't ever remember my dreams, and that it's very rare that I remember them. But ever since he said that, Laura, like, I started doing that before I go to bed, and more times than not now, I will wake up and remember what I had a dream about, versus before I started setting that intention before I went to bed. What do you think about that?
Yes, I 100% agree. So when people ask me, how do I remember my dreams? Part number one is intention. Just setting the intention, like you said, if I'm going to remember my dreams, helps a lot. That takes the first step in your mind. The second thing is just getting in the habit of writing it down. So when you wake up, you're kind of in this kind of middle state where you're, leaving the dream world and coming into reality. And it's going to be really tempting to be like, oh man, I'll write down my dreams later. Like, I'm just going to hang out here for a second. I'm very guilty of that.
Oh, yeah. It's like, ooh, Jeremiah's going to get us some more coffee. I'm excited about this. Thank you, by the way. Yes, keep going. I love talking about dreams.
Yes, and so getting yourself to take that step of writing it down is going to be huge. So even if you remember, like, okay, all I remember is I dreamt about a tree, just literally write a tree. And I think that us taking the time to write something down is a way of, like, building psychic muscle memory. So then the next day in the morning, you're like, oh, this night I had a dream I was at the beach, and oh, my mom was there. And, slowly over time, because, it was probably not even 6 months ago where I was, like, having a hard time remembering my dreams, and now I'm having really crazy, intense dreams every night, and I'm writing them down, and I'm learning so much, and they're helping me heal some old and deep trauma wounds, and they're showing me where I'm at in my life.
Yes.
I know. And I think another thing is talking about your dreams with your friends. My best friend, her name is Abby. She is, like, so good at interpreting dreams. And in the morning, we'll text each other and say, oh, this was my dream. And we'll kind of share thoughts, because people say that it's really hard for us to interpret our own dreams because the dreams represent the unconscious. And these are things that we are not conscious to. So therefore, it's hard for us to pick up on these patterns versus someone else might be like, oh my God, Laura, like, you dreamt that because of X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So getting, like, a dream buddy, I think, really helps.
Oh, that's a really, really good thought. That's a really, really good idea, actually. I'd never thought about that. But yeah, one of the gals that's watching Ginny, yeah, she said definitely keep a journal by your bed and write them down as soon as you wake up. Actually, she said Lena taught that to her. I talked to Lena earlier, and she said she's doing readings right now, otherwise she would be on watching. I just had to say that. But yes, Laura, like I had it so people who I don't know about you, but some of the biggest breakthroughs I've had with my own personal growth have only happened because of certain dreams I've had, and then like I would wake up and they would be like seem so real, and just what I would retain from them, just kind of like these awakenings, these little mini awakenings would happen with certain dreams I would have. Or if I'm like going through something and I'm like searching for it's kind of like my heart knows one thing but my head's not quite thinking the same thing, they're not aligned or whatever. And then finally, like I've learned that with a few issues that I've learned and dealt with, baggage that I've learned and worked through, it actually has been through dreams that I have actually been able to grow and make forward progress with my own personal getting through baggage, because that purging of baggage is so yucky and icky and not fun, but it's necessary. And then sometimes you hit these points where you're just like, why can't I just get past this, or why can't I move past this, or why can't I change? And then for me, I've learned it's taken with certain things, with certain topics or certain baggage issues, it's actually taken like my guides to come to me through my dreams and like slap me, or not really slap me, but you know what I mean, like give me those messages through my dreams.
Yeah, I think that shows some longer dream work, So for those of you who are listening and aren't experiencing that right away, don't worry, it will come. But I actually had a really cool experience that happened to me a couple of days ago. Would it be okay if I shared?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I've just started having dreams where in my dream I say to myself things very clearly and very profound. And so it was a couple of days ago, and probably for the past 2 weeks, I've been having the same recurring nightmare.
Oh, wow.
Dealing with something in my life, and it's been really traumatic, and I've been waking up and feeling just really upset about it each night. And last week, I was having that same recurring nightmare, and then in my dream, I said to myself, Laura, you need to find goldenrod flower essence and take it. It will help move this energy through your body.
Wow.
And I woke up the next morning and was like, holy crap, that's so powerful. Like, I need to find goldenrod flower essence. And
wow.
I know. And I, of course, got too busy and I forgot that I had this huge realization. And then one of my friends posted something on Instagram about how she made goldenrod flower essence, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, like I need to make my own goldenrod flower essence, like what a sign.
Yeah.
Looking out my like apothecary items, and I find this small container of goldenrod flower essence that I got last year and I had never used. And right at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, higher self, thank you for communicating that to me. And I've been taking it. And so goldenrod, if you look at it in herbalism, it's like an expectorant, which helps us like get rid of sickness and specifically mucus for those like head colds or allergies.
Allergy season.
So, yeah, allergy season coming up. Goldenrod is great for that. And so the essence or the energetic vibration of goldenrod is helping move these stuck traumas, these stuck emotions through the body. And so because I was having the same recurring nightmare, my body was ruminating on a certain feeling that it just couldn't let go of, that it couldn't find clarity for. And goldenrod has been helping me move it through to find understanding, and I've stopped having the nightmare since I started taking it.
Oh my god, that's amazing. So do you think, so here's another thing that YouTuber that I was just talking about talks about. And he says that actually when we're dreaming, we are actually, like, our physical body's asleep, but our consciousness is actually waking up in higher dimensions. What do you think about that?
I like that. So say that one more time.
Okay, so he has another thing I learned from him was he thinks that, when we go to sleep at night, we are actually, like, our physical body is resting, okay, recharging, but our consciousness is actually waking up in a higher dimensional realm. What do you think about that?
I totally believe that. So yeah, while our physical body is at sleep, I feel like our brain is sorting through our unconscious. So finding symbols of things and creating meaning from them. So our psyches are really active and trying to communicate these messages. So I'm fully in aligned with what he's saying. And I do think that we can set intentions in our conscious state to kind of unlock specific things in our dream state. So I believe that as you get more confident in your dreaming, you can say, I'm setting the intention to dream about X and it will come to fruition. Uh-oh, you're cutting out.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were still talking, and I thought you were cutting out. Maybe that's our higher selves being like, hey, guys, keep talking about this. So do you think that it is possible to train yourself to be aware of when you're actually dreaming in that dream cycle? You're the nurse. What state of sleeping is the dreaming state? Is it the REM? Is that what it's called?
I have no idea.
REM stage? I can't remember.
The only thing I know about sleep is that I really enjoy it.
We don't get enough of it.
I don't get enough of it.
We don't get enough of it. So, Laura, do you think that it's possible to, do you think that's possible to, like, train yourself through, I don't even know how you would practice it. Like, I don't even know how you would practice, like, training yourself to, like, be more aware of what's going on when your body is asleep.
Yeah, so kind of in Jung, they call it, sometimes you can do, like, active imagination in your dream or, like, lucid dreaming. So I think that sorry, it's getting all fuzzy again. Is that me? Is that you?
It is getting fuzzy, Jeremiah. Come on, tech guy.
Yeah, I think that I think that's coming from your end, Laura. Maybe a little bit of a signal problem.
I have full bars, Verizon.
Do we?
Really?
Do we?
I can try.
Oh, we don't. We don't have full bars, so maybe that's...
Well, I do.
Well, almost. I don't. My stupid phone. This phone's gotta go.
Okay, let me try over here.
Okay.
I'll do a little dancing of the house. Hang on, let me...
Oh, you're alright. No worries.
Now my cat's following me around. Okay. I don't know if that's any better. Okay. Give me one more second.
Are you on speakerphone, by the way, or are you not on speaker?
I'm on speakerphone. Could that be it?
That could be.
That
could be it.
Could be it.
Okay, I just turned it off. Let's hope it gets
better. That's better. Oh, yeah. That's way better.
Okay, cool. So we'll call it that. So I feel like just as we shed more light onto our dreams, we become more aware, because sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night of a dream and I'll be able to go back to sleep and have more control in that dream. And so I think as we are just spending more time interacting with our unconscious, slowly we're going to be able to engage it and do a dance together. So I really feel like it's just the act of shedding light on things and creating a conscious relationship. I love Carl Jung says, I want to find the quote. He's like, whatever we don't make unconscious will become conscious and we'll call it fate. It's this idea that our unconscious is ruling so much of our life, more than we know. And when we're aware of it, then we're in control.
Wow. I love that, by the way. I haven't heard that, but I love that. You should send me that quote. I love that.
Literally thinking, I will send you this quote.
Oh, of course. You do realize, I just have to point this out, you do realize you are our 11th guest. Like, I just find that really, really freaking cool that you are number 11. Like, 11.
She has a thing for number 11.
I do. I do.
Then I think that must be why you chose me. If you have a thing for number 11, that's why you
But
chose
what's
me.
weird is
Our soul connection.
Yes. But what's weird about it is, like, I didn't realize it was number 11. Like, I didn't realize it was the 11th one. Like, I rarely will pay attention to that aspect of it, but I'm sitting here staring at the screen, the computer screen, and it says episode with 11. Oh, you should probably switch that. Episode with 11. It says episode.
Oh, I got that backwards.
That's
there,
okay.
didn't I?
We'll fix it. It's all good. It's all, your brain can automatically fix it, so it's okay. But yes, Laura, I think that he's onto something. Obviously, he's onto something.
I'm sorry, I missed the whole thing.
That's all right. That's all right.
Were just talking about.
I literally told her the quote that she just said. Like, I want her to send it to me. I've never heard that quote before, but I really want to, like, memorize it.
Well, I was talking about while I was downstairs trying to make sure no one was, like.
Oh, we were just talking about a bunch of amazing stuff. He missed out. What can I say?
Murder scene down there or something.
Yeah, let me find the quote really quick.
Okay.
Here, are you ready?
Yes.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Wow.
The subconscious is where our experiences, beliefs, and memories are stored. And self-knowledge, so that's explaining it. So basically, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So there's a powerhouse of information in our unconscious. And like, have you ever taught yourself, like, this is a good thing. You ever catch yourself doing something that you know is like a bad idea? You're like, God, why am I doing this? Or like, you know, you're getting upset and you know you shouldn't be getting upset.
Yes.
So you have to raise your voice.
Oh my God, I do that a lot.
So those are unconscious behaviors that you've been programmed probably through childhood. Someone modeled them for you. And so when certain emotions are evoked, then these behaviors come out. And as we're more aware of these triggers, we have more control over them.
Yes, you have to, as Jeremiah's always said, you have to cut new ruts when it comes to how you react. You're a locus of control. You have to cut new ruts when it comes to how you react to certain situations or certain triggers, or, you know,
right? Because
avoiding them doesn't solve anything. I've learned that the hard way. But
kind of what we've been or have come to refer to as the shadow self. I saw someone made a comment about that earlier in the chat, but you know that and you know. It catches. I find that it catches people off guard a lot of times when I say this, but you have to sometimes realize there's a difference between subconscious and unconscious.
Yeah.
And that.
Oh, can I give a perfect example of that real quick?
Yeah,
I know I totally interrupted you. This is relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry.
No.
So ever since I was little, okay, so I grew up in the same house, Laura, and when I was, so in the garage, there was like, it was like 2 cement steps and then the garage, okay? And the 2 cement steps, and then there was a little ledge, and then you go in the garage door into the house that I grew up in. And I always, even like when I was a teenager, I always had this fear of tripping and like cutting like my teeth, going through my lip or something like that, right? I always had this fear that I was going to trip and fall. Well, then my mom, like years later, I finally said something to her about it, and she told me that when I was learning to walk, I did that exact thing. I tripped, my teeth went like through my lip, and it was a bloody mess, and my lip got cut up and everything. But it's weird how, you know, I have no memory of that, but yet that was a fear. You know what I mean? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
I think sometimes. Well, I'll let Jeremiah explain what he was saying.
Well, no, you're fine. So you know, it's just that the subconscious, you know, exactly what the name implies. It lies just below the conscious mind and conscious thinking, and it still has processes to it, whereas the unconscious is almost more of a this isn't really a good explanation of it, but it's almost more of an instinctual driven level of thought and reaction, because there's there's no real conscious thought to it. These are the things that just come out, and you know, sometimes it comes out by surprise, and you don't really know where it came from, why it happens, but you notice it's been a pattern for a while. You just don't know where this pattern came from, and that often is, you know, that's from, you know, early childhood conditioning and models and role models that we saw in early childhood and that type of thing, things that become so deeply ingrained, and it leads into, you know, what we, you know, kind of in the metaphysical community then start to call what's the shadow self.
Well, I love the saying that.
I think you said that perfectly.
I think so too. I also think the saying that I really like also is, your beliefs become your reality.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that came to mind when you told me that story was, if you have that fear and you're playing that fear over and over again in your mind, you're creating a vibration of that of that situation that's really strong, and like attracts like, and so you're bringing that to you. I have another example. All of my life, I've just been like irrationally afraid of escalators. Like every time I got on them, I was afraid something would get caught, like literally my whole life. And then last summer I was on an escalator in St. Louis, and there was like a malfunction in the escalator, and it ate the bottom of my shoe and cut off the bottom of my toe.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Whoa.
Do you think that like your fear was kind of like maybe your guides warning you to kind of be aware of escalators?
I don't know about that as much as, I definitely am open to hear more, but to me it was just like kind of a reminder of like, hey, like we create our own reality. Like your thoughts are important. You thought about this a lot, and look what happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The law of attraction, man. It's the law of attraction.
Yeah, that's what I think personally.
So do you think... Oh, here's a question. Sorry, we got way sidetracked off astrology. I have another question about astrology, Laura. Do you think it is possible to genuinely change yourself? Or do you think... Genuinely change yourself? Or do you think that because of your birth chart and the lessons you're supposed to learn from this lifetime, do you think that it's already predetermined and there's no way out? Like, the way you are, your set point, the way you are is the way you are, and you just might as well accept it and try to make the best of it.
So I think that our astrology represents our karma, and our karma shows where we're at. So I totally think that we have the tools to evolve and change, but the astrology chart shows us our natural tendencies. And so for someone who has a natural tendency of something, it's not easy to change. It takes a lot of hard work. And I think it really depends on the other factors of your chart that really show me like how much change is possible. I also think circumstances play a huge role. Like environment, they've done studies that you can grow a seed and you can give it the same amount of, water every day or sun, but the environment really makes a difference. Like plants grow different in the environment of angry music versus like happy, relaxing music.
Right.
So I think we have to take that into account. So I definitely believe that we all have the capability to change, but some changes are going to be harder. Like your chart might have like a proclivity to escapist behaviors like drinking or drugs. So making a change in that area in your life is possible. It might just be more challenging than like maybe you have a proclivity to kind of do another behavior, but it's not as strong as a pull. So certain things in your chart have different weight. So that's another thing I look at. Like, how much pull does this one part of your chart have? Is it a huge part of your chart, and therefore it might be harder to change, or is it just a little bit, and then it might be easier?
So when you say how much of your chart and how much, are you talking about like the degree? Like I think since I'm a Sagittarius, I think that I'm like the 11th or 12th day of being a Sagittarius. So I'm like in the middle of it, right? So are you talking about that, or are you talking about how many? What are you specifically talking about when you talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm talking more about planet placement. So on the natal chart, when certain planets are in relationship or an aspect to another, they kind of get supercharged, they're kind of squished. So, for example, my moon, which is my emotions and feelings in astrology, is conjunct Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So, therefore, when I feel things, they are very big. I really feel things, I have big feelings. So let's say that I think that I am too emotional sometimes. Like, I need to be more level. Because I have this energy of Jupiter supersizing my emotions, it might be a little bit harder for me to be calm, cool, and collected all the time than someone who doesn't have Jupiter right next to their moon.
Okay.
So Jupiter is like, say, like, if Jupiter is touching a planet in your chart, it's supersizing it. So because my moon is in a way supersized, it's going to be harder for me to shrink that back down than someone who doesn't have that. But on the plus end, because my moon is conjunct Jupiter, more psychic abilities, I'm feeling things that others aren't, I'm more in touch with my emotions. So there are positive and negatives to every, combination.
Right. Very cool.
Oh, wow.
That's very interesting.
So is there like, of all the birth charts you've read, is there like a combination that if you see it, you're immediately like, oh shit, I'm so sorry to break this news to you, but
I do have one really cool astrology party trick that I have yet to see not work. I'm ready to be surprised. So if you guys have this, holler at me and we'll chat. So in astrology, Venus represents our relationships, kind of a little bit romance, but more like connecting with people.
Okay.
And our 12th house in our astrology chart represents our unconscious, so things that are hidden from us. And every time I have read a chart and someone has had their Venus located in the 12th house, they have cheated on a partner at some point in their life.
Would that by chance be Scorpio that you're referring to?
What?
Are you referring to Scorpio? What are you referring to?
No, so just if anyone, so you know how the astrology chart is a circle?
Yes.
Everyone's 12th house is different depending on their rising sign. So I'm not talking about the 12th principle.
Okay.
So for example, I'm a Cancer rising, so my 12th house is Leo. So if I was looking at a chart and I had Venus in Leo or Venus in my 12th house in this situation, I don't, there would be a high percentage that I had cheated on a partner. Because if we think about that, 12th house is hidden, Venus is in a way, partnerships are just relationships. So directly translating a hidden relationship. And one time my someone and she was like, hey, can you read this guy's chart? And I was like, sure. And I look at it and he has Venus in the 12th house and I go, oh shit. So I go, I don't know how to tell you this, but I bet if you ask him how his last relationship ended, it's because he cheated on someone. And she asked him and she was like, oh my God, Laura, he did cheat on someone.
Wow.
I was like, you can't make this up.
Wow. So here, okay, so I literally on Messenger, I just sent you, Jeremiah and I's birth chart, okay?
Okay.
So you can pull it up. You can pull it up. Remember we did this? I saved it, right? I screenshot it, sent it to you. So I'm curious when you're talking about that. I'm trying to get a visual here. I wish we could put this up on the. I wish you could put this up on the so they can see what we're talking about.
It would take me a minute, but I could.
Okay. I don't know.
Neither of you have this. So I think you sent me. Oh, this is your partner chart. Okay.
Yes. I don't know if that's different from the regular birth chart, but I input the same information.
Yeah, I prefer to use the composite chart when looking at partners, but this is the synastry. So I can use it, but I don't usually, sorry, I had to put my phone on speaker.
Oh, you're okay.
When I do composite, it looks a little different. So that'll be kind of hard for me to translate because it looks different to me, but let me give it a shot. So Sun, Saturn over your Neptune. Moon. Oh. Yeah, so someone's Jupiter is really close to the other person's Mars. So to me, that would allude to kind of supersizing your Mars. So that would mean that if you came together, you could accomplish a lot. You could meet goals together.
Oh, wow.
But also I could see that as like maybe some occasional like anger coming out of nowhere. Like when you're angry, you're really angry.
Out of curiosity, so on this picture that you're looking at, I'm the blue and he is the red.
Okay. So, yeah, because, okay, you're the blue, so you almost have this is hard, it doesn't give me the numbers, I can't tell how close they actually are together, 5, I think that's within 10. So you have a wide Mars-Jupiter. You would be more likely to probably get angry than he is.
I do. I'm a fire. It's that fire sign, man. I do. I can get mad. I have like a lot. Like I don't know. It's weird with anger with me because I can get really mad really quickly. But it depends on what it's.
I never noticed.
No, shut up. It depends on what it's about, Laura. Like if it's something regarding like that triggers insecurities or anything like that, like I'll flip out. I will flip out. That's an understatement.
I never noticed.
Oh God. Anyways, okay, but yeah, not trying to. No, I guess yeah, putting you on the spot is great. Sending you our chart that way you can, anybody who's watching this has never had a birth chart read, get it read. Contact Laura and get it read. So when you do a reading for somebody, I bet it's a pretty in-depth, extensive reading.
Yes, I would say my teacher trained me so well. He's like a super Virgo, so I owe him so much credit. I am very thorough to the point that I was like, whenever I give a reading, I'm like, all right, here's the deal. I am giving you like so much information in such a short period of time that you're going to feel a little overwhelmed. And that means I did my job right. So I'm having you record this so you can re-listen to it and get all that information too. But it is deep. I will tell you, when he first read my chart, I was like, oh my gosh, I was shattered. And I love when I read someone's chart and it's like oh shit, how did she know that? That's like what I aim for. At least once in a chart reading of like getting someone to be like, how the heck did she know that?
Right? So when is your birthday, Laura?
My birthday is December 9th.
December 9th.
I'm a Sagittarius as
You're
well.
like
I'm
me.
a super Sag. I have 5 planets in Sag.
Holy hell. Do you really?
Very Saggy. So, like,
yes, you are.
Yeah, I need balance in my life because I've got Sag at the wazoo. So I just want to learn everything. I want to have fun all the time. I want to play. I want to adventure. And I'm so freaking curious. It, like, is annoying. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to know everything, but I have things to do. I got to accomplish tasks, but I could just go down rabbit holes of learning all day.
Wow. That sounds familiar. The rabbit hole thing, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
between
like...
her Sagittarius and my Gemini,
Oh, God.
You guys could just go for hours.
It's amazing that we ever actually get an actual conversation accomplished.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. So when I'm looking at my chart, so there's 3 symbols in the Sagittarius. And so I don't know what those symbols mean other than the sun sign.
So you have your sun in Saturn. It would be a challenge. For you, it would feel like you take yourself seriously. Sometimes people say, I've mentally that you're wise beyond your years, but I also feel like you feel this pressure to be someone. Saturn is a very hard energy. It's kind of like
It's a what?
It's a very hard energy. Easy. It's kind of like the strict dad. So there would probably be some perfectionism in you that you've had to work through of you feeling like you're not enough, and that little energy sits on your shoulder a lot.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. You could definitely say that.
And then you have your one more time.
What?
You have your Uranus in that. That's really cool. So Uranus is the planet of our higher genius. And so you would have flashes of insight when it comes to spirituality, truth, philosophy, and higher learning.
Oh, wow.
So you doing this kind of, spiritual work and being in this realm, you would, when talking and pontificating about this stuff, especially with a Gemini, you guys could come to some really cool and nuanced ideas.
Hell yeah. So what about so you have a love, or it's like love-hate relationship with Geminis?
Love-hate is just like I shouldn't say that. I'm just always drawn to them. Like, if I meet someone and I feel really excited about them right away, like, they probably have some Gemini on their chart, because we just have so much fun together. Like,
right?
Me and my one Gemini friend, shout out to Aubrey, like, I feel like we could just, like, talk for hours, and it's so fun, and we laugh, and...
See, and oh man. So, Laura, like, I've found, like, I absolutely love Sagittarius. Like, I get along really, really well with the other fire signs. Leos, Aries, and you, of course. But then what's weird is, like, even though Cancers are really awkward for me, like, I love Virgos. Like, I get along really well with Virgos.
I would say that Sag and Virgo also kind of have a love-hate, because Sag is usually a sign of big picture, and Virgo is about details, and so they kind of balance each other, but it can be frustrating. Like, my last astrology teacher was a Virgo, and I'd be talking about something, and he'd be like, no, like, stop going big picture, like, we're here in the right now. And I'm like, I can't, like, I think in big pictures, this is so hard for me.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was a continual struggle for us, and we would just, like, sometimes look at each other and laugh and just be like, this is so Sag and Virgo right now. Like,
yes.
we just have to agree to disagree.
Yes, man. And then, let's see, what about, so you're a fellow Sag, so, how do you get along with Capricorns for the overall?
I love Capricorn women. We get along very well because, Capricorn is the sign following Sag. So Sag is all about, like, finding these higher truths, and Capricorn's like, all right, we found these higher truths, like, let's do something about it. So I feel like Capricorns give me a lot of necessary structure in my life that really kind of helps me get things done. So I do love Capricorn women, and plus they just, like, tend to have a lot of badass energy. Like, they're really strong, independent women, and it's very inspiring to me.
See, and it's like, I always think to myself, my Capricorn moon sign keeps reins on my Sagittarian sun sign.
Yes, like, I can totally see that.
I feel like my Sagittarius is like the little girl inside of me, and the Capricorn's like the adult, like, grown up that's like, no, you can't do it that way anymore, you know?
Yes. Totally.
I don't really have a particular sign that I just don't get along with, or I do have to admit,
Leos.
No, I have to admit that I get a weird feeling every time I meet a Pisces. But then again, this may be my incessant big picture thinking going on, but at the same time, I'm like, I always catch myself, and no, you can't do that, because I had a really bad experience with a Pisces once, and I'm trying to make sure that that's not just that one experience tainting my my impression of all Pisces, but it was
well. that person.
I definitely think that we can have some zodiacal trauma. Like, that needs to be a new term. I saw, like, some astrology meme that's like, once you break up with someone, you can't talk about that sign for a year. Like, you can't be objective about it. So I think maybe it could be that those Pisces characteristics remind you of that person, and it gives you like the heebie-jeebies.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm guessing is going on. Like, maybe she had some very Pisces characteristics that just did not fly with you, and so when you pick that up, your psychic body is like thinking of that person, and you're like, stay away.
Well, I mean, like we won't go into like names or anything like that, but I will say that, man, some of the shit that this particular person like put kiddos through and put you through, like, you know what, eye for an eye, because that lady is fucking crazy.
she was pretty insane. But,
I mean, if there's ever been like an energy vampire, and they lived in Transylvania, and they had big old fucking fangs and just drained another human being, that would be the analogy I would give, right?
I think there are energy vampires with every sign.
There are.
You know, totally more about, you know, personality. I think certain things can have tendencies, but you're going to find those everywhere, and especially as, you know, empathetic people, everyone is empathetic. A lot of us are just not in touch with it. So those of us who are in touch with empathy, we definitely have stronger magnets for attracting those vampirical people.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got a question here that I think Stephanie's trying to read.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the viewers said her mentor uses the Placidius house chart. Is that how you pronounce that?
Placidus.
Yes, that house chart instead of the equal house chart when reading birth charts. Which chart do you use, Laura?
Oh, I love that question. That girl knows her astrology. Shout out to that person.
Becky, yeah, she's pretty awesome. She's pretty amazing.
So, there are lots of different housing systems. So housing systems are how we divide the 12 sections of the chart. And so Placidus is probably the most common. Like, if you ever get your chart on the internet, Placidus is going to be the one that it goes to right away. But I actually use the whole sign, the whole sign system, and that was created by Rob Hands. And I just like that. It's more in line with what the ancients used. And so for those of you who know astrology, and I'll get technical here for a moment, in Placidus, let's say I'm a Cancer rising, in Placidus, the chart, the first degree of, or the line for the first house will be your rising. So if I'm 25 degree rising, that will be the start of the first house. But in whole sign, it says, no, like the start of the first house is 0 degree Cancer, and then your ascendant is just a point in that. And so I think it's, one, easier to read when you're first learning astrology, but two, it's just, I really like to do things more in line with the ancients. And three, I was trained a little bit under Rob Hand, and I just like that method. So your chart will look different and be read slightly different depending on which house system you use, because it will change the alignment of how things unfold. So my chart in Placidus is a little bit different than my chart in whole sign. And I have found that one is not more right than the other, that it's usually a combination of both. Right now, I'm tending to align a little bit more with my whole sign chart, and that's why I kind of really got more worked up in that way, because it made more sense. But as I move on, I'm finding validity in both of them. So I would say, use the housing system that you feel called to, but I really do think there's truth in all of them.
Okay, cool. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of funny, and it's so true. So one of the viewers said that she doesn't much care for Scorpios, but her brother-in-law and a good friend, they are Scorpios, so in small doses they're great. Well, the irony in the fact that this very toxic person in your past was a Pisces, the irony is in 2 weeks we're gaining a daughter-in-law, and she's a Pisces, and she's amazing. So I just had to point that out real quick.
She was kind of the
saving grace.
I think I had all but written Pisces off when up until I found out she was a Pisces. I've never been one much to turn to a lot of astrology. I love talking about it and I love learning about it. It's just it's not my passion like it is yours, Laura. But I had all but written Pisces off up until the point that I found out that our soon-to-be daughter-in-law, Jerica, is a Pisces, and I thought, okay, well, maybe.
They're all right.
maybe there's some okay ones, so.
They're all right. See, and I get along really well with Pisces, but, oh man, Laura. Well, I have to say that this has been, freaking amazing having you on, and we could literally, I just looked at the time a minute ago, I'm like, oh my god, we've been on here for an hour and a half? What? Time goes by so fast, especially when you have great conversation.
Yes, I know. Thank you guys for having me. It was so fun. I definitely missed interacting with you, and I hope you guys got to learn a little bit more. For those of you who are listening, I do offer personalized readings and flower essence therapy, and I do something really cool, which is channeled guided meditation. So I kind of do energy work with the client, and then I kind of just gonna get information of what meditation they need from me to get in access with parts of themselves. And so if you click on my link in the description, Dawn of the Moon, you can find out more there. But please reach out if you have any questions, and feel free to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I post a lot of kind of recipes and just a lot of fun witchy things that you can do to integrate these kind of kookier ways into your life.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for coming on. I know amazing. The feeling's mutual. I always, I see stuff, pop up from you on Facebook every now and again. I've always wondered how you were doing and whatnot. So, yeah.
Every time that I see something from you pop up, Laura, I'm like, oh, I just love that girl. I just love her. But yes, we will put on our Darkness Live page, we'll put links to your page and any, that way anybody who is curious about it, because I will say, I personally, when I met Laura, she did a reading for me, and it was incredible. It was incredible and so insightful, and it was I have a feeling that it was just kind of touching the surface. It wasn't a total full-on reading, which maybe we should do one of these days, because that would be amazing. But anyways, yes, thank you so much for being on. This has been amazing.
Yes, I would love that. Yeah, thank you for having me, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
You do the same.
You too. We'll do a follow-up soon and catch up with some of the stuff that we didn't get to talk about tonight.
Yes, I would love that.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you. You have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
She is just the neatest lady.
Yeah,
and she's just such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
She's just such a breath of fresh air.
So I remember at St. Louis when we were... this stupid thing is just so daggum wobbly. So I remember at St. Louis when we were setting up there, of course you can tell right away as soon as she walks in, you can tell almost immediately that she's like a classic Sagittarius.
Do we give off that vibe?
Yes.
Would
you do.
Do I give off? Sorry, I don't know if that got really loud or whatever. But do I give off that vibe? Would you guess I was a Sagittarius when you met me?
Yes.
What gives it away? Honestly, what gives it away? I'm putting my husband on the spot here.
I don't know. Like I said a while ago,
He's avoiding the question.
I've never been that huge of a student of astrology. I've just studied it enough to know that, there's a certain energy There's an energy, and that's I'm an empath. That's what I identify with more than anything is that emotional charge and that emotional energy. So,
I bet sometimes I'm like a force to be reckoned with, and I also bet that sometimes you need a break or some quiet time away from me.
I'm not answering that question.
I mean, seriously, like, I would bet that, David said you're a smart man for that. Yep. But no, seriously, like, I know that, well, also, you're introverted. You're an introvert, and you have to have time to, you need to have that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really... I just go. I'm like the Energizer fucking bunny, man. I just go. I just never. Do I?
No, you don't. Not until you completely run out of juice and just pass out. I mean, it's almost like a toddler. I mean, really and truly, I don't mean that to be shitty. I really don't. It's just you go until you just can't go no more, and then you just fall face down.
Well, that's probably why I pass out within like 5 minutes. Seriously, I mean, I do not have any trouble falling asleep.
No,
at all.
You don't.
Like,
that would be nice.
You'll be like, we'll be watching something or whatever, and about to go to bed or whatever, and like he'll like look over, and I'm out.
Yep.
Like completely out.
Oh, that would be so nice. Anyway, but I remember at St. Louis, we were setting up, and we were in kind of a time crunch because we were about an hour late getting in there, oh
God, I remember that.
Well, actually, this was the next morning because she only had the reader's table to set up, so she didn't have the kind of setup that we did. Anyway, she walked in, and it just the energy that she gave off was just there was in that entire room full of vendors and readers and healers, there was a tiny handful of people that gave off that kind of refreshing energy. And we've had Laura is the second one of those people that we've had on the show. And there's a small handful of others that we need to get scheduled at some point in time.
Yeah, one of them's watching right now.
So...
One of them is watching right now. Well, he was. I don't know if he's still on or not, but...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one that, like, dwarfed my smoky quartz crystal point. Yeah, we have a good friend that when we were... where were we? We go so many places, like, I forget where we do certain things. Where were we? That was in...
St. Louis.
Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That he gave us the labradorite.
Yeah,
obelisk.
and it was, I mean, seriously, like, I was just, when he pulled that out and set it down, dwarfed my smoky quartz crystal point I had gotten for you, and it was like, well, bam, this thing is massive. And I was like, oh, man, you just shrank my, yeah.
This is what she's talking about.
You can set them down.
The smoky quartz and the labradorite.
Yeah, so this was my prized possession right here, my smoky quartz, and then our good friend comes and found this and gave to Jeremiah, and I was like, damn, he just dwarfed the smoky quartz crystal point. It was really cool. But yeah, we need to have him on.
Yeah, we do.
We need to have him on. But Laura was amazing. I was like, I'm so glad that she came on with us. She's like a breath of fresh air. And yes, I would say at that specific St. Louis show, the lady we had on before, her, which she's gonna have a baby soon. Anyways, her, Laura, the gentleman that gave you this, and then there was a couple others that I really felt drawn to. The gal right next to us, she was amazing. Yeah. And then there was a few that
the two just on the other side of her.
Yes. Sorry, I had to visually picture who you were talking about. Yes, those two were absolutely amazing as well. Sorry, we're not saying names.
Yeah.
We just
I think they're all probably game to get on the show. We just need to make arrangements with them, and we don't want to be presumptuous and
Right.
Until we actually get the word from them. So.
Right. But yeah, back to Laura, she's just such a delightful person. And she's just, anytime that I've ever had any communication with her, I just feel better about myself after I talk to her.
Just
Just the vibe that she gives off, the energy that she gives off. I'm sure that the viewers picked up on that, obviously, from listening to her speak the last hour and a half. Like, she's just great, man. I just love her so much.
All right. Well, let's see here. Just a few things to plug right quick.
We adore Yanni. We adore Yanni and Pan.
Yes.
Her and her husband.
Yeah.
She said, I adore you too. Oh, we adore you guys too. We adore everybody that comes on that comes and watches and takes the time, because we only get so much of that, and when the hourglass runs out, well.
Yeah.
You better not laugh as the hearse goes by, because you might be the next to die. Have you ever heard that? They wrap you up in big long sheets from your head down to your feet. I can't sing, people.
I've never heard that.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope anybody watching this, somebody else has heard that. Hopefully somebody. It's like this, I don't even know if you'd call it a song or what it is, but it's like this little, just, I don't know if it's maybe a, like, you better not laugh as the hearse goes by, because you might be the next to die. They wrap you up in big long sheets from your head down to your feet. They put you in a big black box and cover you with dirt and rocks, and you better not laugh as the hearse or wait, then it's like the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. And then it's like they eat your eyes, they eat your nose, they eat the jelly between your toes. What? It just keeps going. I don't know the entirety of the like, yeah, it's yeah, see, David knows. Scary stories to tell in the dark. I wonder if that's where it came from. But yeah, the worms play pinochle on your... Is pinochle like a game? A card game? Or so? It sounds like a card game. Pinochle, is that a card game?
Yeah, it's some kind of game. Yeah.
Anyways, yes, I remember learning that from a young age. No clue where I learned it from, but I am really pleased to know that some of the people watching have heard of it. And I can't believe you haven't. I can't believe you haven't. Wow. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to educate you.
Such a sheltered life.
I'm going to educate you.
So we have, let's see here, this coming Wednesday, I'm teaching a class at Mystic Myths in Wichita. A runes class. It'll be an hour and a half long. I will post a link to the event in the video description. And what else? What else do we have coming up?
A wedding?
Yes, we have a wedding.
Kind of like foggy-headed till we get through that.
Yeah.
You talk about procrastinators. So they had their engagement party Saturday night, and the oldest kid comes up and he's like, please order your dress soon. And I'm like, hey, it'll be here on Tuesday. So, yeah, we're like super bad procrastinators. But it's weird what we procrastinate at. Like, not everything.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, it's got so much work to do.
Yes, you do.
Anyway.
Well, we
So,
do.
And then, let's see here, after that, a week after that, we've got, and I'll be posting an event on this, to the Huginn and Muninn Beyond the Veil page, in 3 weeks, I guess. We will be back at the Village Witch in Lawrence, and doing readings there, and then
selling some stuff.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have a small vendor table set up, and then
see, and by then I'm hoping to. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I'm tired. I'm not as on top of not interrupting you as I normally would be. Wait, am I ever on top of that?
I plead the fifth.
Oh my God, David, he's a smart man. Anyways, so by then I'm hoping to have some of my creations created and for sale that are made out of bone. All kinds of cool ideas I have for this a whole bunch of bones that we ended up not human. Don't worry, not human. But all these bones we ended up getting. So yes,
And
when
then-
are we in Lawrence? We are going to be in Lawrence. Jenny wondered when we're going to be in Lawrence.
I think it's October 5th.
It's the
Is
first
that right?
Saturday.
The first Saturday will be at the. We're in Lawrence at the Village Witch the first Saturday of every month.
Lena will be there as well, right?
So yes,
And her husband Dave will be there as well doing.
It is the 5th of October, and then there are a couple of things. I haven't even had the chance really to talk to you about them yet. But there's a couple of things up in the KC area that we'll be at in October. And then the weekend before Halloween, we will be back in St. Louis.
And I'm still not going to go on the arch. No desire? No desire. None whatsoever. Go on the arch. I think it'd be cool to see it, though. I've seen it before, but last time we were there in St. Louis, I wanted to like drive by and see it, but we just didn't have because it was like when we arrived it was dark, and when we left it was dark, and we just didn't get the opportunity because we don't actually get the opportunity to like leave during the fair hours, and so yeah,
it's kind of cool getting to go travel and do all of that, but you know, what the downside of it is we don't really get much of a chance. It's not like we're taking a vacation. We're there. When we're there to work. So
I know, but it's kind of nice because like I know that it is work and it is a huge chunk of anyways, time and energy and all this, but like I genuinely like love it. Like I love going to these fairs and meeting all these amazing people. And look at all the people that we've met that have been absolutely amazing from the fairs, and that's something that I would not trade for anything. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So and then let's see here. Oh, something interesting. A while ago, you know, we had that little blood-curdling toddler scream.
God. I thought, well, he didn't come upstairs, so we don't have to go to the ER.
Right. So
I'm so calm.
I went.
I'm so calm about it.
I went when I went down to check on him. That scream was why I went down to check on him. Well, both the kids swore up and down she didn't scream. Both the kids swore up and down. No one screamed.
What?
Yeah, so we're going to have to go back and listen to that audio. So,
seriously?
Yeah.
No way.
That's what we're going to have to listen to the audio. So
that sounded like her screaming.
Yeah, it did. So
what?
Like I said, we may find out different, you know, once we grill the kids a little bit more. I don't know, but they both swear up and down that
that wasn't Sylvie.
She didn't scream. Bella's down there painting that watering can, and she's been keeping. She said she'd been sitting there. Sophie'd been sitting there with her, and Bella had been keeping her entertained.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I would have bet you $100 bill that was Sophie.
I would have too. That's why I went down there.
Wow.
So, but that wasn't the first time I'd heard something to that effect tonight. So.
I thought she was down there, like, not fell down the stairs, but, like, tripped or didn't get her way or something. Yeah, anyways, so, we're just going on and on now. We'll get off of here and let you guys get back to your evening. I hope you guys enjoyed this evening. I know I had a blast, and sorry, I'm just kind of tired.
Yeah, we've both kind of got the tired stupids and the tired rambles going on. So anyway, yes, we're going to get off of here and cut you guys loose. Thank you so much for tuning in and logging on and watching with us.
Yes, this has been great.
Like and share this video. Please help us get the word out about this thing. You know what? One more thing before we go. We are almost at 300 likes for the Darkness Live page, guys.
Oh, so yes.
Please share the page, share the videos, share anything you want off of this page. Help us get the word out there, and we will hit
When
that.
we-
We've got some ideas. We're not going to make any announcements yet, but we've got some ideas rolling around.
Was that your way of saying shut it up? Shut it up! Don't go there yet.
Well, not in
At
those
least
words.
he's nice. It's the deliverance. Did I say that?
Deliverance.
Okay, yeah.
At least it didn't come with a pig squeal, okay? So anyway,
Oh my
God, now we really got to go. Okay, so we've got some ideas to throw around about, some sort of contest or something to do when we hit 300. But we, you're turning red. Can you guys see that? She's turning red.
Yes. Oh my God.
We will get we'll get some ideas concreted in and get some announcements made next week. We might already be at 300 next week, but that's okay. We'll do it after the fact. We'll see what happens. We were like 293 the last time I looked, so we've only got 7 to go. Anyway, stop talking.
Hey, we will, when we get off of here, Jeremiah's going to get on and share. Anybody who's curious how to get in touch with Laura will be able to just go to the Darkness Live page, and he's going to put everything you possibly could need to know to get in touch with Laura.
Visit her page, give her a like, and get in touch with her. She's really amazing, and she knows her stuff. She's just
she
really good. So, anyway, in the meantime...
Good night.
Come back and see us next week. Have a great week. And in the meantime, don't be afraid of the dark.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Shit. And I should have had this transition set up already.
Wow. Oh, my God. Is it off? Is it off now?